What is up, guys and gals? It is me, Thomas Fan01 here, and today we are back at it again with a different type of video today. And today we are going to be discussing all of the Transformers and or the good Christmas and or budget-friendly Transformers that you can go purchase at Ross. Now, for those of you who do not live in the United States, what is Ross? Well, Ross is kind of like a discount store for a lot of products that don't get sold in stores. Like, for example, if you see I'm trying to. Okay, so for example, if you are to go to this type of store, you're going to see, like, for example, Transformers that maybe never made it to shelves, like in your area, or things that were supposed to have come out but they didn't, or they were overproduced at like Walmart and Target. To a point where now they are just going to be clogging up the Ross shelves because Ross buys them up after Target can't sell them, or Walmart can't sell them, or whatever toy company cannot sell them. I do not know what the equivalent of this is over in Europe, and over in the other areas of the United Kingdom. I do not know what this is like over in other countries. However, this is what I do know about Ross in the United States. So, you can also find some of these at Burlington Coat Factory. They are another store that does this type of stuff as well, but they're not exactly, they're not like Ross. So, I'm not saying that they're a bad company to go be with. Or to go shop at. I'm just saying, I know Ross more than I do Burlington Coat Factory. So, anyways, we're going to discuss we're going to have three tiers that we're going to discuss, excuse me. We're going to have three tiers of figures that we are going to discuss. We're going to talk about the ones that are under $10, we're going to talk about the ones that are under $20, and we're going to talk about figures that are $20 and or higher. So, with that being said, let's buckle up and let's get into the very first one with Transformers Legacy Evolutions Deluxe Class Animated Prowl. Now, this figure hit shelves, quite nicely back almost a year ago, and a lot of people had issues trying to, or maybe not a lot of people, but some people had issue trying to snag him and get him down and nail him down and get the figure that they wanted out of the whole deal. Now, my only one thing that I do not like about this is the fact that it's animated Prowl. I mean, come on, guys. Why did animated Prowl end up going to Walmart, or not Walmart, to Ross? Why did it go to Ross? I can't believe this one ended up going to Ross. So, but if you are lucky, you can get this figure for $8.99 or $7.99 with tax. It's going to be around $8 to pick this guy up, and this guy literally comes brand new in packaging, so you're not going to be missing out a ton. So let's get into the next one. Now, the next figure is one of those figures that you kind of have to have in order to have a complete set. Now, what am I referring to? Well, I am referring to, of course, Insecticon Shrapnel. Yeah. I think this is Shrapnel. Yeah. This is Shrapnel, for sure. But the point is that you can go and pick this guy up once again for around $8. So, you can pick this guy up for around $8, and he's in the same category as Prowl. I don't understand why he's here. I don't understand why it went to Ross, but you can pick this guy up for around $8.50 to $8.50 total. It's the same exact price as Prowl, and the same price as the next figure coming up, which is... Now, if you are a fan of these, Junkion characters that they are releasing, I have a feeling that there's going to be another one that's going to be coming to Ross anytime soon. But here we have the Deluxe Class Legacy Evolutions Crash Bar, which honestly is not that bad of a figure. It's just a little bit of a weird one that I did not expect to see show up there. However, I'm very pleased to have seen it show up because it is a character that is... It's an armorizer character, which means you can pull apart this character and you can add it to certain other characters. Like, you can totally take this guy and you can totally armorize up this Prowl if you manage to get both of them. So, if you are lucky enough to find these guys, I would highly recommend it because, like I said, you can pick this guy up for about a little less than $8.50 at Ross Dress for Less. So, let's go into the next tier, which is figures under $20, but more than $15. So the next figure that showed up at Ross for under $15, and I don't know if anybody else was able to get this guy for under $15. However, I was. So, that being said, here we have Legacy Evolution's Voyager class Metalhawk. Now, once again, this figure is one of those figures that's just a little bit strange and just a little bit weird that we all did not understand why they released it, but at the same time, it was one of those figures that was like, we don't need another retool, another repaint. I don't understand why this thing's sitting on shelves. In fact, it's going to sit on shelves again this year. Literally, this figure was released last year and is coming out at Ross right now. Right at the same time, they're re-releasing this figure in Legacy United. So the line previous already had this guy, and now they're re-releasing him again in the same manner of respect that it's going to be at Ross again next year. This guy's not a massive pickup for everybody, but the point being is that if you're looking for a figure that will literally keep everybody on their toes, and or maybe not everybody on their toes, but the point being is that you're going to be able to find this figure for a little less than $16 to $17. I managed to pick it up for $14.99, and it was $16 with tax. I don't know how that works out in other countries, but that's how it works out here in the US. So, anywho's, let's get into the next one, which is actually kind of a bit of a weird one. So, next one being... Now, this one particularly, not particularly this version of the figure. This is just the only version of the figure that I currently have. You can actually find the Legacy United Voyager class Thundertron there. Now, this guy came out in January, February, and March of this year already, and this is obviously not the version I'm referring to. This is the version of the Legacy United Star Raiders 3-pack. The one that I am referring to is, of course, the one that is on the side of the packaging, which is a completely different version of Thundertron to the Legacy United packaging. This one versus this one. This one has a different head sculpt, a different way that things are. He has a hand. He has all of this other stuff going on here with this one. This is the version that you would be picking up at Ross. This is not the version you'd be picking up at Ross. So, point being is that you can find Thundertron for $16.99. That is what I paid for him exactly at the counter. So I do not know if that there is another price point for this guy, but that is what I've seen. That's what I paid. And that's what I'm going to stick with, at least for the rest of this video. So, anyways, now we're going to move on to the tier of $20 or higher. So, these figures here, the majority of these figures are $20 a pop. So, let's get into that. Coming in at first one, this one's actually kind of in overabundance right now at Ross, so you guys will definitely find this if you guys have a good local Ross Dress for Less. But you can find the Studio Series Rise of the Beast Cheetor there, which is actually kind of a little bit of a weird one to find, but at the same time, I think it's quite nice that this guy is showing up for a reasonable price, because back in 2023, when this guy came out in like maybe March or March of that year, this guy was extremely hard to find. I had seen maybe like 3 grand total of the entire year of 2023, and of course one of them I had to pick up. But the point is that you could not find this guy at all last year. And then all of a sudden now, it's like, oh, we can go to Ross Dress for Less and pick him up. Let's go get him. Let's go get it. Let's go finish our Rise of the Beast collection. So, I gotta say, that is a very nice thing that they had to do, that they did not need to do, but I'm very glad that they did that anyways, and that this guy is at Ross, and that it is just... I'm glad that this guy's showing up and that people can get a hold of him now. So, anyways, coming into the next one, we have another Studio Series figure. This figure is actually one that everybody, and I mean everyone, had a hard time getting a hold of in 2023. In fact, it was so sought after that knockoff companies had to start making this guy in overabundance because they didn't know how many people were going to continuously order from them. And that, of course, I'm referring to the Transformers Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Battle Trap. Now, this Battle Trap is already continued with the upgrade that came from Optimus Primal, with a little bit of extra chain for his Wrecking Ball. However, this bit of chain does not come with this guy's stock standard, so just be aware of that. You are going to get a different version of this guy, but it's going to be a pretty cool version nonetheless. So, that being said, I'm very thrilled that this guy is starting to show up at Ross, because this guy, for everybody, I don't understand what the deal was, but it's like they didn't produce enough of this guy, and then once he was like on Big Bad Toy Store, Hasbro Pulse, just sold out everywhere. And then all of a sudden, the knockoff company started coming in and we're like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, now we can go purchase this at Ross. Why do we have the knockoff version? We'll just go get the official version. So this guy is one that I'm very thrilled showed up at Ross, and you guys can get this guy for $19.99, same price as Cheetor, which is $19.99, but with tax, it's going to be about $20 or more, or a little over $20, so maybe $20, $21. But the point is you can get a nice Studio Series Voyager class for $20. That is almost unheard of from prices up to a point of about 2008-9. So, anyways, let's move on to the next ones, which are, we are out of the Studio Series realm. This is one of the last ones you can pick up. There is one more that you can pick up, but I have not acquired it and or picked it up. Actually, you know what? I'll just show it off real quick. Now, the next figure that you can find in the Studio Series realm that is at Ross, and this one goes in the category of less than $5, okay? This guy you can purchase for around $4.85 with tax total. Here is Studio Series Core Class Mohawk. I apologize, I did forget about this guy in the beginning. However, you can go ahead and totally pick this guy up if you guys did miss out on getting this guy. So please be aware you can pick up Core Class Mohawk. So next ones, we are 100% out of Studio Series. So yes, next one being, of course, being, well, it's going to be Legacy Evolutions Twincast and Eject, because, you know, or not Eject, is it? No, Twincast and Rewind, my bad. Blah. Eject is Blaster's little mini-con, but this guy you can purchase for about $19.99 at Ross right now. It is a Voyager class. It is a wonderful addition to the collection if you don't have it. Now, I don't know the massive backstory behind this guy, but I do know that this guy is at the store. I purchased it at Ross, that's for sure. And we did a review about him, the whole thing, the whole spiel, all of it. But seriously, if you don't have him, if you don't have a blaster, this guy is definitely a good substitute, because he also, too, does come with a cassette. So don't feel like, so, you know, you're not missing out on a ton of stuff with this mold, but at the same time, this mold and this figure give you a ton of playability to go with when you're buying this for your kids at Christmas, and or to put it under the tree for a collector. So seriously, 100% recommend this guy. Let's get into the next one with the final Legacy Evolutions figure that at least I have found over at Ross. So the next figure being actually a figure that I got really early on, and what's funny is I've actually paid way less than what everybody else has every single time for this figure. Now, I have a small story with Legacy Evolution's G2 Cloud cover, and that story is that the first time I went to go pick this guy up, Walmart had not put him in their systems very well, and he was $5. So I picked up every single version that they had. The second time I went to go pick this guy up at Ross, they had severely mispriced him again, and I managed to get him for, once again, under $10. However, I had been to several other Rosses since then, and I had seen this guy go for $19.99. So I am going to go with the official Ross price that they gave me at a different store. This figure is $19.99. It's about $21 with tax. So if you are lucky enough to find this guy, I would highly recommend you pick him up. So that being said, this is a perfect one to add to the collection for any Transformer collector, because number one, this is a cone head. This is based off of an unfinished design that they did for Generation 2. They did an entire thing with it. It's just a wonderful figure to add. Not to mention, the figure has some animation there in his face. He's screaming at you. So once again, I can completely say this is a wonderful figure to throw in for Christmas. Now, this next figure is kind of huge and also a little bit of a pain in the butt for everybody to find, and I will explain that when we get into it. So the next tier is $25 and or higher. So, next one, of course, being the G.I. Joe crossover Dreadnought Thunder Machine Soundwave that comes with Ravage and it comes with 2 other G.I. Joe figures. Now, I don't have those G.I. Joe figures anymore. I sold them because I just didn't care. But point is that you can get Soundwave, a gigantic Soundwave. Let me just bring in that animated Prowl for comparison here. This thing is huge. It is wonderful to also have sitting on the mantle. It also goes well with your G.I. Joe collectors and your Transformers collectors because they're still releasing G.I. Joe crossover figures. This guy was supposedly number... What was this guy? I think he was number 3. Yeah, this guy was number 3 in the whole line. Not to mention, it still does certain things that Soundwave can do. Opens up the chest cavity. Not to mention, you also come with a Masterpiece Ravage. This is Masterpiece Ravage, but it is done in different plastic coloration and everything of the nature because when this set originally came out, it was $50 or over $50. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was over $90. So, like, you could not go anywhere without buying this if you managed to find it at Ross. And if you did manage to find it at Ross, once again, congratulations to you. That is a perfect, wonderful thing to have. However, I must warn everybody, this is a highly, highly, highly difficult figure to acquire at Ross. And the reason I'm saying that is because it is a crossover, it is highly sought after, and it is very, very, very difficult to find. I had been to 6 different Rosses, hadn't found this guy. Went to my lucky number 7, and it was sitting right on top of a bunch of other Transformer figures that were just, all the boxes were crushed, everything was not good, and it was just, no, it was not a pleasant thing to see. But I picked it up, I took it to the cash register, I paid for it. I paid a grand total of about $27 to $28 for it. I don't have the receipt sitting with me right off the bat, but I can tell you that it was over $25, so please be aware of that. However, if you do manage to get this guy at Ross, 100% golden egg opportunity, golden goose right here for you. This is a must-have for any Transformers fan. Under the Christmas tree this year on a budget, if you're on a budget. So please be aware of that. Also, please be aware that all of the Transformers that you've seen in this video, there is not a 100% guarantee that you will find these figures at Ross. So please be aware of that. There is no guarantee you'll find them. The only one I can 100% most likely guarantee will be there is Cheetor, because they have overproduced this guy so freaking much at Ross, there's no question in my mind you'll find this guy. So, that being said, this ends the video, so please do not forget to check out Jordy's Rail videos, Patrick with the Y, iStar552, Bravely GG, Take Along Productions, Riveted Rail Fan, Riveted Reviews, The Good, the Bad, the Awesome, New York Toy Hunter, 11 Line Productions, Skibbity Jacket, Corey Tucker. Also, let's not forget Alexander Rothschild. Let's also not forget Kitten Cat 999, and also Marvelous Ball, as they've been some amazing fans of the show, and they've also been some amazing live stream viewers. They've been part of my streams, they've been part of my videos for a while. So anyways, please show them some love by subscribing to them. That being said, also do not forget to check out all of the playlists that include all of these Transformers that we have shown off, and you can check them out in the description down below. I will leave a link to the main channel as such. So, this is Thomas Fan 01 saying, do not forget to keep playing with your toys. Goodbye.